It's almost 3. I've been up for a while. Last night was weird. I wasn't as uncomfortable as the night before, but I kept being in this like really, really deep, deep state. I'm telling you the theta waves is between like, I don't know, 3 and 7 hertz or whatever. That those ones that really put you in a deep sleep. It is like it's a deep meditation or something. That you're in such a deep altered state, and so then when I woke up, I'll feel like a zombie. I still feel like a zombie. I feel really out of it. And then plus, I don't know, sometimes my braid, it just gets like stuck right in this part that was so painful when, I don't know, when my brain was trying to come out. It hurts there. Like, it's weird. It must just have like some kind of scarring or something. But also my scoliosis is bad there, so I don't know. Sometimes it just blows my mind anyways. It's like, we're not even real. Like, how can this stuff be so... Just thinking about, like, because that eye stuff is supposed to, not eye stuff, the IVER, the horse stuff is supposed to come today. And so I'm going to give it to Stella and I. And but just the fact that all these people keep saying that, oh yeah, you'll have live worms coming out of you and stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, how does that even happen? Like, how do we have, well, I don't know. This whole thing is just weird. It is, I thought it's weird how they can make us sick without us even knowing. And then, these worms inside of us. I don't know. This whole thing is weird. But, let me think. Because during the night, because I swear to God, this place is fucking haunted as fuck now. And there's just nonstop fuckery. And so I can't even stand. I feel so uncomfortable even when I go back there now. And even when I go back there, still jumps up and starts crying and goes back there. Like, I can't be back there by myself. It's like, what do you see? More than what I see? It's intense. And then you see things go through. So there's obviously you can get through here. Like, I know you have to be in a frequency, like, in order to move different frequencies, you have to be in like a portal place where that frequency can move. So, I don't know, some can zip through here and creep around and stuff. It's just like there's so much activity. It's weird. It feels really haunted. It messes with your head too. And but when I was sleeping, I was going in the deepest, deepest sleep. It was like I was going to these other places, and then all of a sudden I would be woke up by something. It was like the TV would all of a sudden go to a commercial or something. It would be something loud. And I would jump up, and it was making me feel really out of it because it happened a bunch of times. And so then I was like 1 or 1:30, that happened again. I still felt so out of it. And but my head was hurting. And then I keep having this other weird thing is when I lay on this side that I hear all this like scratching, which I think it's a sound inside of my neck or something. But I don't know. It sounds so weird because it sounds so loud. And it only happens sometimes. But it was happening again last night. So then when I was trying to lay on the side, I can just hear... I was like, oh my God. And my head is hurting. And so but I want to go back to sleep. And I was checking my account. My Chewy thing came out already. They always take it out days ahead. So even if you try and put it on the day that your deposit's supposed to go in, they take out the money before the deposits go in. Deposit still hasn't gone in, which, I always feel like if it doesn't, it seems like a good sign because it's a Social Security one. So it's always like, well, yeah, I'd like to have the money and go get some more supplies. But then again, if it doesn't go in, then it's a good sign that shit's about to go. But fuck, I can't believe how long they can drag this shit out. Oh my God. I swear to God. Some of the things, it's just like whatever is drama, Hunter or whatever came to a Christmas party, and I was on the plane and wasn't logged. All this stuff is just to create a dialogue, to create a narrative, to open people's mind to these things, like, because it's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, kind of, because it's like the people see this stuff and then it's like their brain can open up. So when more of this stuff starts coming in, it's like it has somewhere to go. And so a lot of this stuff is like opening their mind, because, there's been lots of stuff like with this family, supposedly. But the crazy thing is they're not even at that place. That place isn't even functioning like they pretend. And then you have all these uh, um, journalists and stuff that pretend like it's really there and they're there. It's like, these people are all so fake. Everybody's so fucking fake. Just say whatever they're told to say. It's so strange. And I don't know, like, I would not fit into that. Because you couldn't pay me to say what you wanted to say. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to judge anybody, or because you just don't know what people are up against anyways, and I sure don't want to be. Because always, if I judge something, then I'll be faced with some thing, so I have to understand. And still I'm getting all these little itches and tingles and stuff. It's driving me crazy too. Not feeling, I just hope that this medicine that comes today, it helps. I hope it helps her, and I hope it helps me feel better. I had watched a bunch of things. There's a bunch of different people that say do different things. There's this one girl who she has been, she's autoimmune and had a lot of parasites and stuff. And she said do 7 days on, which you just, with the paste, you just put like a smudge and then you just lick it. And do that for 7 days. You got to take a charcoal or a binder or whatever. And then you take 7 days off. And then you do it again in 7 days. So to catch the larvae hatching and all that stuff. So I guess I'll do that and try. If there's a huge improvement, I think you're supposed to do it like real regular. So maybe after the first month, and then you do it like 7 days on, 7 days off for 3 cycles or something. Then you just start like maybe once a month or something. I don't know. Seems like a lot of people do all different things. So I think it's up to you. You got to kind of listen to your body. And also, too, when people start sharing the stuff, like my FYP page is just like, oh my God, there's no reason for me to be going on here. It's so annoying. And I saw somebody who was sharing, I don't know, one of the rallies or something. And it just is like, oh my God. I just want to get people caught up in the God, some of this stuff, it's like, are people really this slow? Like, they really have to step down this slow? Like, is it really this difficult that they can't just come on and, pop something off? Like, they do act like people are just complete mental handicaps. And then it is like, are they? Is everybody just a total mental handicap? Like, because seriously, is everybody on the verge of a meltdown on, going into Walmart and knocking everything off the shelves and shit? Going into hamburger places and grabbing the food and throwing it at people? Like, it's crazy. I don't see why things have to go so slow. But to keep this going, like, with the... and now Colorado says this. It's like, oh my God. I'm sure that part is to get, to bring some kind of thing to the surface. Something big. Something that's going to, because to me, there's a lot of stuff like that are TREASON that is coming to the surface. What was the one I just saw? Some, I don't know, it's a senator or a congresswoman or something, and bowing down to the red flag with the star and the sickle thing. You know, I've seen somebody showing how many with the star and the sickle thing, and it means something. That's why so many of them have it. And it is something about the same thing under the blue star over by the strip. And it's all the real people who are in control. It's kind of like they put that on their flag. And then there seems to be people who have come into well, if other people have tried to make a difference or tried to come into power, but you're always restrained by these other people. And so now there's a shift in power. And but I saw somebody showing about those, how many of those flags. And it's like, dang, I didn't notice how many of those flags have that same symbol because of the different colors, but have the star thing, and this looks like a crescent moon. And so anyways, that has some kind of breakdown of what all that means. But for them to be like, now, however they're going to drag this out, they got to just hurry up and just show the evidence. Like, oh, I don't know. This is all just a show. It's all just like, it becomes like, this is to the point of like an absurd show. It's so absurd. It's like, why do you keep dragging this shit out? Why not just fucking start doing some of this stuff? Because it is, I don't know. It is, it's like, to me, it's like gone too far past. It's like, you just keep dragging it instead of making some stuff happen. Start taking Joe down. Start showing the evidence of who's really in power and stuff. Like, there's got to be some more control. It seems kind of like the people who are showing it are just having fun, making a big show of it. It's like, oh my God, for some of us, it's like, God. But then I know on a spiritual level, it's like you got to learn how to trust and relax, like about the house thing, because that's the thing that will get me. That's the thing that eats at me, is the house thing, you know, because that what if, and so it's like, okay, well, you know, I'd have to figure out what I was taking with me, where I was gonna go, what I was gonna do next, and I saw footage. So there's a big flood that happened in New Jersey, which New Jersey is over where they had also had that road shut down. And then right away, here comes some big flood. So I don't know if there was anything about if that was created more of a containment. I would imagine so. Fuck. And but their flood that I had seen, and I have not seen very many videos of people showing their weather and stuff, but the water was like 4.5 feet up in his downstairs part of his house. And so it was all his furniture and everything in his house. And that's one thing too, is that I feel like that we just got to keep remembering is that they, gosh, it feels like bugs are crawling on my face. They're being crazy. That they can destroy something in a split second. And then, you know, then you've got nothing to worry about, because you got nothing to worry about. Everything's gone. You're starting over. And they are doing that and doing that and doing that in all these different places. And I think that I know that there was something that was going in Florida. I just keep seeing like these little clip things, which the volcano over in Iceland is way, way bigger than what they had thought, and it's way worse. But it seems to be going in the right direction. And so who knows, you know, what's going to go with that. Because to me, it still is like that place isn't on their future map. I'm pretty sure it's mostly gone or is gone. So much of Europe is gone. So So it's just a lot of places are going to be gone. And I just don't know, like, especially as it drags out and drags out, like, is it going to be storms are just going to wipe out this place, wipe out that place, and we just keep chugging along and chugging along, just waiting for the storm that comes to affect our place. Because to me, it seems that, I mean, I would say if they would hurry, I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, but um, if they would hurry up so that we, could start talking about safer places and talking about cataclysm and stuff. And I don't know, are they just so freaked out? Because there's always this stuff like people can't handle it. People can't handle the truth. People can't handle the truth. And then you see these people who think like they're so spiritual and they're talking about demons and stuff like that. And I don't know if the spiritual TikTok is getting more drama or something. I haven't seen more because I don't follow any of those people. And some guy who I don't know popped up on my feed though, and he was talking about the drama right now on spiritual TikTok is just so crazy. And I don't know, I was talking about some mental health thing. And oh, I'm so itchy. And anyway, so I don't know if it's just still the same thing, if people are still picking teams on those two, whatever is going on with them, which I have no idea. It's not like, well, I don't see why we would all be weighing in on, who's crazy and who's not crazy. And I mean, even like there's so many different levels, because even if the one guy is saying like he has no, like he's not going and interacting with people in the astral, it's like, yeah, but what is your spirit doing then? It's got to be doing something. Like, so, it's going somewhere. It's not just laying in your bed with you. So, I don't know. And so many of these people are just seem like they're so in ego. All just like in ego. And I don't know. It's like they don't even study spirituality. They just, it's like, just listen to music that raises your vibration. I don't even know, because I'm not on there, how many of them even talk about doing the work and focusing on your own pain and suffering and forgiveness and letting go of things. Because it seems to me a lot of them are all about love and light, and ignore the things that bother you and keep away from the people who are low vibration and make you feel bad. And if you let anyone or anything bring you down, you're lowering your vibration and letting other people affect you. And a lot of their teachings are just strange to me, because, you should be connected to other people to where we are affected by each other. And we should be connected like that, in my opinion. But then you have got to learn your own abilities, your own discernment, your own your boundaries. Because like right now with the, I don't know what is going on with that girl, but now she is saying that she's leaving their system here, and she's headed back to Spokane, and she's going to start looking into homeless shelters. And my daughter had told her, why in the world would you do that? And I was like, well, she hasn't even said anything to me. So I have no idea, but that doesn't make any sense. You're going to blow off all of the resources here, and then you're just going to take off. And then it makes me feel like, if you're even trying to get it to where you can just come back here, but that makes no sense, because now you just cut yourself off of the resources that are the closest resources out here. So like none of this makes any sense. That I don't know if she wasn't happy with the placement they were trying to get or something, and so she decided she was going to go someplace and try and do better. But it's like, man, you were lucky to be getting stuff from this place. Like there's a lot of, and places are not going to help you unless you're willing to help yourself. That is a big thing. I feel like it's a big thing about the whole quantum system. You have to be, you know, like tuned into yourself. You have to be willing to help yourself. And that's why I think, like with the med beds and stuff, if people aren't, you know, in that state of mind of helping themselves, and I don't think it will work as well. I think it's like you have to work with the machine, with the energy, with the frequency. And so if you're, you know, really low frequency and not healthy, it can't just go in and fix you. Like you have to be putting in the work, putting in effort to fix yourself, and then it assists you, is what I think it's going to be like. Like, I don't think that, I don't know though. Maybe it will be, you know, somebody who's like 400 or 500 pounds, who has not taken care of themselves and has a whole lot of ailments and just has relied on the doctor. Is one thing too, as I noticed, and I had just seen this video and I could have been taking it wrong, but she was doing this video and it just was saying words and she just kept looking and showing her sadness. And it is about, I don't know, her husband of 28 years or something had a heart attack, and that was horrible for her. But now he got better from his heart attack, but now they found out his carotid artery is blocked, and she is just, you know, so distraught, and she's just doing this whole video. And I clicked out of it, and I was just like, man, people just, you know, thrive. They get so much attention off of stuff like that, that they, you know, I don't know. People like to get attention off of being sick and stuff. And so, I don't know how to explain it, but I definitely noticed it when I was in the hospital, when I worked at the hospital, that there's people who like to be sick because then they get attention. Because, I mean, it's probably a part of, even with older people, as they aren't healed and people have gone away from them and they're kind of left alone, and they, you know, and they're just left with their own pain, and they feel discarded by their own parents, and then felt discarded by their kids, just feel like kind of alone and lonely, and then get sicker. Then you go into the hospital and get attention. All of a sudden, people come rushing to your bedside, you know, and all of a sudden, people care. So people start getting into that kind of routine. They get into like a pattern. It's like a pattern of behavior. But then for people to even try and get attention off of other people's sickness, that's like Munchausen too. Munchausen by proxy. So you get attention off someone else's sickness. That's where those moms, they'll make their kids sick so that they can be, oh, look at how hard, it's so hard on me. I've got so much to do with her. And, you know, because people get attention off of that. Oh my gosh, that just sounds hard, especially like when they have a disabled kid and they just keep talking about how hard it is on them. And then you have all these people supporting them, and so it becomes this totally dysfunctional thing. And then people need more of that, attention. I think some people on the Munchausen by proxy thing, I think some of them, their kid got sick, and then they got so much attention that they keep making their kids sick after that. And I don't know that they all of a sudden think of it and think, I'm going to make my kids sick so I get attention. I think it's more like something happens and then they get attention, so then they continue it and keep doing it so that they can keep getting attention and keep getting people who have so much empathy for them. Because, you know, it is a part of our connection, but that is where we also have to put up boundaries to how much empathy we will give somebody. And so it isn't, to have caring and compassion for somebody isn't low vibration. I think to me, it's low vibration to fight against yourself, to hide from yourself, to, pretend like you don't have any dark side. Like, I don't even know. Maybe that Finnegan guy, maybe he has a dark side that he's hiding from. Maybe he just needs to admit he has a dark side. Maybe this woman has some kind of, but who knows? Maybe she's super psychic. Maybe she's super aware of the stuff that goes on in the astral and he's not. Like, that's why it is like, it has nothing to do with me. So why would I be involved in these people's thing? And to me, all these people who jump on board, it's like they want to be, I don't know, they want to weigh in on the how they, whose side they're on, but then it is always has to put down the other person. Like, if this girl is like, she's mental and he's totally in the right and stuff. But I don't know. A lot of these young spiritual guys, going around with no shirt and trying to be sexy all the time and trying to be these, like, I don't know, trying to be attractive to girls, trying to pull a bunch of girls in, like rock stars or something. It isn't just like, oh no, I'm all about celibacy and just about, working on me and stuff. Like, they're trying to draw in attention and girls and stuff. So there's some kind of ego thing going on there. Because I've thought that was strange for a long while. All these guys popping up all of a sudden, all with no shirts on, out, by the trees or by smelling flowers, and they've all got their beads and their long hair. And they're just trying to, as I said, it's like they're trying to play a part or something. They're trying to make a role, like a character, like creating a character or something. Because is that like what they're really like? And that's the thing that got me on that one girl, because I've heard those other people saying it is like he's different than what people think. And I think probably that he's different than the persona he puts out. I think a lot of these spiritual people are. But I'm sure that there could be people who would say I was. It'd be like, oh yeah, she's way different than if you saw her in person. Like, I don't know. It's all in the receiver too. And then it's like, how much of your energy are you really going to give to somebody else? And the curiosity of the concern about what they think or how they think or where they got where they are or what they're doing and stuff like that. I think that we kind of insert ourselves all the time in thinking about what somebody else has going on. It's kind of a distraction. It's crazy how many of these people all go straight up into judgment, when that is a huge thing in spirituality, is working away from judgment, is working to not think that somebody's good or bad. And I don't know, maybe a lot of these people are trying to be very careful and not judging one person or the other. It sounded like that Finnegan guy in his thing. He was saying that he was getting a lot of judgment on him, but the videos I'm seeing is a lot of judgment on her. So I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't know their stuff. None of us know any stuff unless it's happening right to us. And if it's not happening to us, it doesn't really have anything to do with us. But that also, to me, that doesn't mean you just put your head in like an ostrich, just bury your head and don't pay any attention to what's going on in the world unless somebody comes in and kicks you. It's like, no, especially like right now, because everything has to do with this unity, this connection, this beginning to care for one another, coming together. And that's one thing too with all these disasters and stuff that do is bring communities together. And what was that? Because I had just seen something else and I don't know why. Trump is popping in my head. about doing something about bringing communities together. And he was saying there's like 15 million people who are here illegally now, which I don't know the numbers. There's a lot, especially like if you're in certain parts of the country, in certain big cities and stuff, that there's a lot. And I don't know, because on one sense, they have no rights to tell us anything. They don't have a right to tell us that we have to have passports and we have to, we have the God-given right to move freely. And for them to put up stops and boundaries and say, no, you need papers, that isn't, you know, no matter at what point that they do that, that is against our human rights. So there's one sense of that these people have a right to move freely, just as we have a right to move freely. And so there's going to be things about that are going to be changing. Like maybe a lot of us are going to, I mean, and like I said, some of the people who are coming here, it might be some type of an evacuation to get people to safer places, because there really isn't a lot of really big land masses that are going to be left in comparison to what we have right now. Because it looks like, when you look at there, it looks like Russia is going to be really big. Greenland, it seems like Greenland is going to be there. Because what was that one too? Oh, because over by the North Sea, there keeps being all this stuff everybody keeps looking at. I didn't even know there was a place called the North Sea. And now there's all this footage about the North Sea. And to me, it's like, because this is what our whole world is, different realms and stuff. It's different, it's different vibrations, it's different realms, it's different experiences. Oh, what was this one? Amy had a really cool picture the other day that they got outside and they took a picture of the sky, and it looked like some kind of, I don't know, I've seen a lot of these pictures where it looks like some sort of electronic thing. Like you can see like a motherboard or something just sitting in the sky. And and I think, I'm pretty sure she's over by North or South Carolina. But it could be, I swear, I keep getting it mixed up, like where everybody is living. Because Crystal is Oklahoma, I think. Because sometimes I'll be thinking it's someplace else, and then she'll say, I don't know. So anyways, I get off. I get off on the different places of keeping up. But anyways, it is a really cool picture. And what was I going to say about that? Because it was the people coming together, the people, sky stuff. I know there's a lot of wild sky stuff. The guy in Florida, he is always getting stuff. There's a lot of weird sky stuff, for sure. Like that definitely seems like it's going, because I see so many people now who are all the time asking questions about what's going on in the sky. So a lot of people are paying attention to the sky. I mean, something's going to go on in the sky at some point. And now we're at the solstice too. And maybe energetically that has something good that will have something happen. I don't know. It's like, fuck. I can't believe it. Like, I haven't seen anything about the market or, the stock market or anything about the debt clock or any of that stuff. It seemed like that Trump said something else, but I don't remember. But anyways, on the land thing, so Russia was there. Oh, and I saw another video where somebody was saying that Barron is a direct descendant to Tartaria or something. He's 6'7" and 17 years old. He is like giant when he's standing there, because there's a picture of him standing next to this little lady. It's like, man, he is really giant. But that's why I said I would not be surprised if it is him and his mom are from the other side of the ice wall. Oh, and this guy, got a picture and he was doing like a sunset or something. And he goes out and does it all the time in the same place. And I think he's in California, somewhere on the coast. And all of a sudden there is like a city way out that was not been there. It looks like some kind of, I don't know, to me kind of like a space age city or something. But as a thing too, is these other things are around us, you just can't see them. So as we raise our vibration, see, then you'll be able to see things that you couldn't see before. So this stuff isn't just all of a sudden being there. It's always been there. You just didn't see it. You just didn't notice. But so I thought that was really cool. And then this North Sea thing, it seems like it's like a portal entry into another world. Because I think that that is in a lot of things about a lot of these places are otherworldly because they're all different worlds. And we keep thinking that we're all sharing this same world and sharing the same reality, but we weren't sharing all the same reality. It has been like different realms, complete different worlds, and complete different existences, depending on where it is that you were living or experiencing. And so over by uh, like by the Netherlands and stuff like that, a lot of that place is going to be gone. It seems like Russia is a really big landmass. Canada is going to be cut out, like also how America is. There's parts of Mexico that's going to still go down. And there's like some big part, like Brazil is going to be there. Like there's going to be some places, but a lot of places are gone. And a lot of places are just reduced to little islands. But, you know, when you think about the positive, is like we have a lot of waterfront property is going to be, because there's going to be a lot more water. So there's going to be a lot more open. But see, then it has also where people, human beings, are free to roam. Like, can you imagine if we were stopping bears and stopping deers and squirrels? Hey, do you have your papers? You can't leave your neighborhood. You have to stay here. You can't leave this forest. You can't go to any other forest. You have to stay here. It's like we don't have any right. It's like they don't have any right to tell us. They were trying to tell us because they were trying to control and contain us because that they could get us to work for them and give us, like we would go work hard and then we would have to be given all their money. And we kept submitting to that. We kept complying. We kept doing what we were told. And so until one day, one day somebody woke up and said, hey, wait, what are we doing here? And then everybody else started saying, yeah, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then we reached a point where it was like a lot of other people saying, just shut up and do what you're supposed to do. And then it became an argument. But anyways, it's going to flip and turn things the other direction. It's crazy to me because it seems like so many people don't understand that there's like a flipping of the other direction. Everybody thinks we're just going in this direction and that's where we're going, that's where we're headed, and that's, you know, that's it. But it's going to flip the other direction. I would assume it's because of all the outrage of people of like, well, no, we can't do that. It's going to flip the other direction. But no matter what, everything is going to flip because it's like a cosmic. It's written in the stars. It's in all these different prophecy and stuff. It was inevitable. This is always going to happen. It's a destined event. And so it's going to flip and go the other direction. But that is going to be the part that's so unsettling to people because people are so comfortable in the dark. People feed off of the dark and they have no awareness that they do. They, and I don't know, it's on so many different levels because so many people aren't even connected to their soul. They're not connected to themselves. They're just connected to the darkness and then their ego and trying to, you know, be better than other people. And, you know, I just want to say this too, because I saw this yesterday because, you know, Bold Glamour had another thing happen. Like, man, to me, she has been getting hit with a lot of stuff and she just doesn't let it affect her. And she just puts that filter on and goes out and I don't know, is so many times she says stuff that is like, she's very informative, like, but she's very focused on certain things. but she just has that, that divisive sense of looking at things. But anyways, her friend who was sick with cancer died a couple days or 10 days ago or whatever. And then she was asking for donations for money to bury this person. And see, this is where we've got to get out of this idea. Like, oh, well, this is what we need. We have to have this funeral. We have to have this burial so that we can, why? Because that is where people tell you that that's the most respectful way to let somebody go. It's the way that they market off of you. Like, to me, I wouldn't do any of that stuff. I wouldn't be like asking for money or any of that burial. I would be taking my person out. I would do Viking burial, take them out on a boat, uh, out into the ocean, and set the boat out wherever you can do it at. Like, I wouldn't go telling, I wouldn't go asking permission. I mean, what are they going to do? I think that when you say it's your own religious right to have your kind of burial that you want, and you can throw your ashes out into the ocean, and why in the world can't you, send your body in flames out into the ocean? So, and the boat and stuff burns up too. You just do like one of those little wood boats. And so anyway, I don't know. Just seems so like caught up in this three-dimensional. Oh, everybody is always doing these GoFundMes. Everybody's got GoFundMe. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs this paid for them or that paid for them. And then you have these people who, well, you got to have a good burial. You got to have this. You got to have that. And it's just like, why? Who has come up with this stuff? The people who are selling it, and then we are convinced, oh, well, that's the only way to go, is to have this burial, and we can't afford it, so let's just ask everybody else to pay for it. It's just, I don't know. And this one woman I saw, she was doing a video, and she had asked for money, and I don't know what her situation was, but she was asking for money, and she got a bunch of money donated, I don't know, $1,500 or something like that. And one of the people gave $500. And, there's just so many things about that too. For one thing, if you're going to make a big deal about somebody giving you $500, what if that $500 is nothing to them? And then all the people who, are broke as fuck, who gave you $10 or $20, is like, well, that didn't really matter. Because this person who gave 500, well, they could have, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and 500 could be nothing to them. And that they give 500, and it's like, oh, thank you, worship, worship. When it's these other people who've struggled and struggled and struggled and are trying to do something to help and be supportive. I just think that everything seems out of whack. I don't think it's productive to ask people for money like that. I think when things are being taken from us, it's the time to ask if we really need it. Like, what is the universe taking something? It's trying to show you that you don't really need it. It's showing you to question something, to look at it differently, to think about it differently. And especially, I mean, I don't think that you need to be taking people in to jail them. I think that we have got way more rights than what that they have told us. And I think it has, for one thing, that they make money off of them, people who die, and then off of people's guilt and all that stuff. But the whole thing about where we used to be able to just go out back, and I guess most people who had their property, they had their own little family plot somewhere out back in the place, set up their own little nice place, and then would bury all their folks and everybody out there on their own little plot. And then a place where you could go out and sit and, talk to your family members or whatever in solitude. And see, they couldn't take the land, but then they started taking the land. And it started to, because there's all this where ancient burials and all these tribes, and everybody would bury their people, and even farmers and stuff. And so that was supposed to be, that's your land. if it's your ancestors or something is on it. I don't know all of the different ways that this stuff is said, and then the ways that they find loopholes, but it's going back to our human rights. It's going back. We're dropping all their loopholes, all the things that they came up with their phony ass judicial, so that they could control us. That's why so much about the judicial is being shown right now, is because it was so fake and phony, and it was out to control and contain us and take away our human rights. Everything is about taking away our human rights, and in us complying and submitting, then it gives them everything they want. And then all they do is offer us some entertainment and an opportunity to chase a dream. And people will do it. People will, it's just crazy what people will do for $10 if they don't have $10. It's crazy how people will go against their own integrity. Like all these people who are going out and doing all this looting and stuff, unless it is really out of desperation and they desperately need that money and they have some way to sell the stuff so that they can get the money, and all the money is really going into something really good and productive. If it is just to cause chaos or just to get money to go buy drugs or do something crazy or wild or whatever, then your intention is more in the dark. And so that intention is going to turn around and blow up in someone's face. If somebody is really out there trying to survive and trying to help their family survive or help somebody else survive, that's a totally different energy, a totally different intention, which right now, like, oh my gosh, like I said, this was going to be coming. Like there would be so many of these people who would be doing in their own kids. Like there's so many horrible situations. But oh my gosh, dad's killing their kids, mom's killing their kids. But there's one story where I was like, this is this even real? Because how does this happen like every year? And does it happen in every single city? Or do they find one and then they promote it on the national news? Or do they just repeat the story like every year and a half? But where they'll have 5 or 6 kids all die on the same night in the house, like a house fire or a gas leak or whatever. And all of the whole group, the whole family of kids die. Sometimes it's a car wreck, and right before Christmas. And it's always a huge amount of people because it makes people so sad. They're always trying to make people sad. That's where you got to watch out, watching all their propaganda and stuff, because all they're trying to do is whip your emotions around and keep you feeling down and defeated and sad. And I mean, it's hard to not feel defeated right now because it just drags and drags and drags out. Like, oh my gosh, how long can it drag? It's like, I really thought that the money thing was going to go in 2020. I mean, I am shocked how long it's gone this long. And then it drags out into 2024, and it starts going, you know, into next year. It's like, man, I do not. I mean, you got to do whatever you got to do. Like, if I want to get my house and it ends up I have to go in and fight, if I have to fight somebody at the end of the driveway, look, I don't know. Yesterday I was sitting here and Stella jumped up and she started barking. I was like, oh my gosh, I do not, if somebody comes in the driveway, I don't want her going down there. I don't want her, you know, getting by one of these people. And I don't know, you know, they can just create any kind of drama. It's like that one guy was saying right now, as the banks are in such a bad way, they can just start calling in their notes. They can just take your house. They can take your car. They can take whatever. And it doesn't, it's a part of the loopholes of their contracts. But it's all their contracts is what is their downfall. It is all just illegal because of all these loopholes and the necessity of getting someone into power who did have any kind of sense of human rights, and how we all have just submitted to losing our human rights. But it is this whole thing with all these people who just think they're humans. They just think that they're human beings. They don't think that they're a soul. They don't see anything on a bigger light and this more spiritual way of looking at things. Even with those people who are the spiritual leaders, and they're all, I don't know, they're not spiritual. I don't think. I don't know. I'd have to, I guess be around them and talk to them and stuff. But it's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that they really, I don't know, like I had said before, to me, it started with, my guides or guidance or whatever, these other beings talking to me all the time. So I knew that there was, I knew there was life after death. I knew there were souls talking. I knew there was beings talking to me. I knew that there was, like, I was just a lot of the shit that I just have known. But then when I started pulling off of the church, that's when I started looking into reincarnation. And then that just goes really good with near-death experiences. And this was like 40 years ago. So there's whatever books, or back then, I would still say people should look at some of the older stuff too, not just the newer stuff. Because I don't know when spirituality started becoming like a trend. Like it was before, it was like embarrassing. Like people thought you were just some sort of weird wacko. I don't know when all of a sudden it became trendy, where, but I think when it became trendy, it lost its substance. People weren't really living a spiritual life. They were just, grabbing a label that I remember it could have been somebody who was really spiritual who started it, who started leading it, and then more people wanted to be like them. But there's more to it. It's more in depth than just, taking off your shirt and putting on some beads and growing your hair out and taking off your shoes. It's like, is how you interact with people. It's how you stand up for yourself. It's how you move through life. It's more complex. It's a day-to-day practice. It's a way that you stop when things happen, and you stop and be present, and you're reflective, and you try and see the deeper meaning. What is it all about? What is this happening? Why would this be happening? And, and everybody's got their own level. I go in and talk to my guides and stuff. This has been my whole life. So, yeah, I'm just kind of weirded out sometimes when I think about how other people were living. Like, how were they living? How would they live in their day to day if they have no reflection, if they aren't willing to ever look at themselves, and if they're not looking at the bigger picture and the more depth to an occurrence of why something could be happening? What is the bigger picture? What is more possibilities than just, this angry God up in the sky who yesterday you said, God damn it, so now he's trying to ruin your life or something. It's like, that is, I don't know, it's like primitive ways of anchoring into your existence. Is it is this low key of control. And it's crazy because of the destiny, because that is where you don't have control. So, but to me, it is the recognition of you don't have control, you're on a ride. And so, but you do have control of your attitude. You have control of how you look at things. And so that is what you have control of. That's what you're supposed to be controlling. The actual ride, you're supposed to be present, so that when you're present, then you're learning all the different things, just like in a video game, where I've only seen some be played a few times, but seems like they can go run up to like a closet, and then they can open the closet and they can grab out all these tools that they can use. And then, if they miss that closet, then they miss out on all those tools. But see, that's how you got to go through life, is you got to see all these different experiences, all these different people that you run across, even mostly the people who trigger you. They are giving you tools. They're helping you develop some side of yourself that would be missing without them pushing you to your discomfort zone. So these people who want to hide from their discomfort, they want to hide from anybody who triggers them, that brings them down, it makes them low vibration. Well, you're hiding from your growth. You're hiding from your potential. You're hiding from your expanding. You want to face these people. You want to face your experiences. You want to be present and go through these different things, and then sit in your time and understand them on a deeper level and see where it is that you can grow and how it can make a positive experience. So that to me is where you have an internal loci of control, but you're not trying to control things that you don't have control over. Because there's so many things in life that we don't have control over. We don't have control over other people, and we can find that really frustrating when we want to make somebody do something that we want them to do because we think it would be best. And to let go of this trying to control other people, allowing other people to make their own mistakes. And even when you can see them making big mistakes, it's like, ugh, it's your mistake. Like, there's nothing you can do. Everybody's got their own life journey, their own stuff they're here to experience. And, like, on the grand scale of things, we all benefit from all experiences because all knowledge goes out into the universe. And the more knowledge that you open yourself up to, the more you can experience. Judgment and it is a closed off way of living. It's like you close yourself off from having empathy or compassion for someone else's experience. You just go in and think through judgment that, they should have done this different. They should have done that different. They are, a lot of times with judgment is just as like a belittling of somebody. So I try and notice the things that people are doing without belittling them, without seeing that, especially like right now, it's like an error of their sight. It's like they just don't see everything. And that's what's going to be hard and hurtful and impactful for people, is when they do see it, is it's going to hurt them that they didn't see it. And they're going to be confused by themselves. But it's this darkness of this world that has been feeding so many people the wrong information. So I'm trying to, to point things out, but not say somebody's a bad person or an idiot or any of that stuff. It's just, it's all in perceiving and what people's ability to perceive or to rationalize from their energetic experience that they are aligned with. And so sometimes I feel like I sound like I'm being super judgy, and maybe I do, maybe I am judgy to some people. But it makes a difference on you and your intention and your heart, and you can't get away from it. Yeah, you will always have to face it. So even if I'm judgy, that's my own lesson. It's my own stuff to go in and learn and to just see, but it's also, I know a part of it is I'm supposed to be seeing these things that don't go right because they just stand out so much to me. Stand out so much. All these people who have just lost respect for themselves. They're not connected. They're not connected to themselves. They're disconnected from each other. They're divided from each other. They look down on each other. And everybody's got toxic behaviors, and they always think it's somebody else's fault. And people can improve their lives by improving their own behaviors, by changing their own patterns, by recognizing your patterns, recognizing your own behaviors, taking responsibility for how you feel, taking responsibility for your behaviors. And knowing that you change all the patterns just when one person makes a change, it changes the dynamic. So it isn't like that you have to go in, because I used to do this too. I've heard this before. when I was in counseling and marriage counseling and stuff. Well, if you just change your behaviors, then that changes everything. So then I would think I was changing my behavior and it would always be the same. But now I can understand it more. And it is, it's more of a totally taking responsibility for yourself, and it changes the dynamic. Like if somebody does something that you would have normally been triggered and react or overreact or gone with them in this back and forth, wherever that would go, can lead into drama and go anywhere really. But when you don't participate in it in the same way, and as fast as you can catch yourself and seeing, and then you stop, you have a boundary, you draw a line, and you don't have to, be passive aggressive. You don't have to try and say something to hurt somebody, like, I'll get the last little sharp jab in, because we've all done that kind of shit. And say it in a smug way, a condescending way. But really, the way that we want to be is not hurtful, not judgmental, not hateful, not play games, not condescending, just honest, and just, draw a line. Just stop when something is like, no, I'm not going to talk about this. And then I think a lot of times even we'll get frustrated and angry with somebody because we're trying to make them do something we want them to do, and then they won't do it. And so there's just a lot of arguments, a lot of different things that create the friction we feed off of. Well, it's almost like the dark energy feeds off of it. We all have these dark energy attachments, so then they're always feeding us. So then we stay in this state of friction and anxiety because it feeds this center, these beings, I don't know if they're the archons or whatever they are, but these dark energy beings that just are parasites that feed off of our energy, but they don't feed off of our love. They don't feed off of our happiness and joy. That doesn't feed them. That is where they don't get anything out of that. And that kind of is more of a repellent. And so the more you can focus on that kind of stuff, the more you can come together and find happiness. That's why, too, even looking at your different situations and scenarios and trying to recognize the positive parts, recognize the good things, the positive things that are coming. Because all the different things that happen for you and to people, it helps you to grow. Something in you is growing, something in you that wasn't there before. And a lot of people think, well, I don't want to have that. I don't want to be strong. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. But, I mean, then why are you here? Why are you here? Like, are you in touch with your soul? Because your soul wants to be growing. Your soul wants to experience itself. It wants to grow. It wants to expand. And so, I don't know. It seems like to me that avatars just get in the way. That is like why it's a mastery to me of why you have to take over and not let the vehicle do the driving, but you need to start letting the passenger be the director, because the passenger is your soul. And so the passenger needs to be the one who's directing the vehicle. But the vehicle has been like on autopilot, just going through the ride. And the people are kind of in the aftermath of the ride. And then in the frustration of trying to direct the ride where they want it to go. But as the things are happening, it creates an aftermath in people's lives. So they're just like feeling defeated. And then them thinking, well, they've got to control things in life. They've got to go to school and they got to get this good job and, make these things happen for themselves. And So they will get themselves frustrated. I mean, there's people who would just be losing their shit because they can't get into school. It's like, well, why wouldn't you see, like, the universe is telling you you don't need to go to school? It's got a different plan for you. It's trying to be gentle, it's trying to be nice, but you keep fighting and fighting it. And you're getting all mad because you think you need to go to school. Well, then if you needed to go to school, it would all be working that way. Everything would be going in that direction. But everything starts pushing you in a different direction, and people start fighting it, and they get all frustrated and mad instead of being like, oh, okay, so where are we going then? What's the plan? If I'm not going to school, you gotta be aware and be present, because you don't know whose path you're going to cross. Somebody's path you're going to cross who's going to be, a godsend, who's going to take you under their wing and train you. And, you end up owning your own business of something. And working at some job is only going to hold you back. And the universe is trying to direct you towards something else, but you're so set in your mind that because you've been told that's where success comes from. Although in our actual scene, we've got all these kids with degrees and no jobs, and nobody's making it, and they've got all this debt. And they were bringing that up again too. I don't know. Joe's being picky over who's he's going to write off or something. Probably he's going to write off anybody's debt who comes from another country or something. Like, it's all just all this absurdity. It all just keeps being absurd, just outrageous, to get people outraged and mad and talking and being present. So, anyways, the more that they get people's attention, then the more, there's going to be water thrown in their face. Something's coming. Something will come. And I don't know if this thing over in Iceland is going to reverberate over to here. With our tectonic plates are supposedly all going like, and that's the thing too, is each day you can get up. I guess even the New Jersey one, they had no warning. Nobody knew that they were about to have this big flood. And that's another thing they keep doing. But I had been hearing about that like for a couple of years. They've come in and hit with these storms in the middle of the night while people are sleeping to keep people, so then you wake up and you're out of it and you're trying to get your stuff, and then the chaos in the roads. And it's just they want to create the tension and the chaos. To me, it seems like it's just smarter just to stay at the house with the water and let the water drain. I don't know. I guess it can take a long time, and I've heard of people being all waterlogged. And then I've got, Stella and stuff like, just the whole thing. It's like, God, I hope none of that stuff is in my storyline. I was like, I'm ready for my storyline to start getting with the good stuff. I'm ready for good things to start happening. Seems like, oh my gosh. And I think that, we need to have some people that start coming onto the stage and start, talking in a, well, I mean, we do have Tucker. There is like a few people who are coming in talking more and more openly. And I think it's going to just keep expanding and expanding. The more people talk, and the more that people can say stuff, then the more comfortable they'll get. But there's still a huge thing on censorship. Like the censorship, but I think that's trying to really get people to understand how important it is to have free speech, to be able to talk openly, to not have somebody control. Because once somebody is controlling what other people are saying, it's like, well, why do you care? Why do you care what we're saying to each other? So you have some sort of stake in this. So what is the stake? What is it you're trying to get here? And in all of these cases, it's control of us, and they don't want us to be talking and waking up, and they want to keep us in the dark, keep us in ignorance, and keep us under control. So, anyways, I just got to keep. Everything is about, breaking free, being present, looking at life in a different way. It's just looking at things like that they're happening for you, that it's a positive thing, and that you got to try and see what are the tools that I'm getting, what are the benefits I'm getting here. And it may not be immediately, but once you ask a question, answers will start coming to you. um, it is, just to me, it's always about ask the questions, ask your guides. And then you got to learn your discernment. You got to learn to, the dark energy, what the messages are that it feeds you, the way that it keeps you trapped, the way that it keeps you feeling. And so everybody's got to learn their own discernment and their own, getting that level, getting that balance in themselves between, see, that kind of stuff will wake me up. I'll be totally zoned out, and then all of a sudden they'll put on some commercial. I've got to do that today. Sign up for the no commercials. I keep thinking, man, everything's going to change. Any minute, everything's going to change. And that's why, to me, it's like, if we had control, there's enough of us that would have already changed this shit. We don't have control like that. It is a game. It's like we're on a ride. It's a set game. We're here for an experience. We're here to get what we can from the experience, to learn and to grow from the experience, from the different experiences, and then to also play a part for other people so that they can learn and grow. So, and making mistakes and stuff is a part of your growth. There's no shame. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. You came here to make mistakes. You're not supposed to be perfect and controlled and never make a mistake. You're supposed to make mistakes, and you're supposed to take your consequences, because that is where you learn from your mistakes. And so you have to be open to however something works out, to see like, oh, well, that didn't work out so great. Like, I think so many people have really got to realize this whole thing with, thinking that handing all these kids these iPads was going to make them all brilliant scientists. And instead it's made them all dependent and, or what is that word called? Is there mind dependency, but the addiction, it created an addiction in them, where their mind, when it's not being stimulated, their mind, it's like their brain starts hurting, like they need this stimulation. And then they lack development in their own emotions and other, I think, creativity. There's other development that got stagnated by just having a device. But see, I think the people who were in charge knew they wanted that to happen. But that's why we have to look at it and see, because that's the direction they were trying to take us, into this, mindless, fragile society, genderless. I can't even believe the amount of androgynous people out there. Like, there are so many people you can definitely not tell. No clue. I have no idea what you were born as, or even what you're trying to present as now. I can't tell at all. It's just like, but no, everybody gets to be themselves. Everybody gets to be whoever they want. And we got to just accept people. Everybody's learning different things, and everybody's here to learn different things. And then plus we're in this big time of transition. So everything we're learning and going through right now is just a stepping stool. It's the steps to get somewhere else. Like the lessons that are up ahead, once we reach into the age of Aquarius, once enough people get into that kind of healthier way that we interact with each other, then it's going to be different kinds of lessons. It's not going to be the same. There's going to be different things through all this. So that's why everything is brief moments of learning. And if you just, blow off your lessons, you don't want to be around that person, you don't want to deal with that, that's low vibration. And there's a lot of lessons that people are skipping by, a lot of things. And I don't know, to me, when you are going in the wrong direction, the soul will keep making things worse. Things will fall apart and fall apart. So that's one thing, is like people's lives will just keep falling apart and falling apart, because it's trying to push you into a certain conscious state, into a certain awareness. So anyways, my back hurts and I'm uncomfortable. I really want to go back to sleep. So I want to start this downloading. Let me think if there was something else, because if my deposit goes in, I'm going to go into town and get a few things. I guess I'm not going to go to the hospital. Like, I don't know what the plan is now. If they're, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. That's where you can't get yourself all caught up in somebody else's stuff. It's like, you know, you're going to make your mistakes and you're going to have to deal with them. And you drive yourself crazy to keep trying to show somebody the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. The reason we can know the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do is because from our own experiences. But there's a lot of people who aren't just here to know what we know. They're here to experience it, to learn for themselves. And even though it seems harsh because nobody seems to know what they're doing here and everybody has forgotten why they're here, but it really is productive. You know, the hardest things and the harshest things that we go through are our biggest lessons, and they create who we are. You know, we are a representation of all of our experiences. We are a representation of everyone we've ever met. Every interaction we've ever had is reflected in who we are. And so, and that, you know, shows that the power of you as an individual that you have in somebody else's life, that you affect them for their whole life. Any kind of brief encounter, that you have some sort of an impact that creates a reaction in the person. So we all are impacted by one another. We're all a part of one another, and everyone's a part of our experience in the manufacturing of who we are as a being, as a creature, because we are our experiences, and our experiences are all around us, unless you know, in this day and age, cut yourself off from everything that makes you upset or sad or challenges you. So it's all, you know, and there's no getting away. I mean, if you do, you cut yourself off from all that and you think, oh, well, they'll never know. Yeah, they will. Yeah, you can't get away from your knowing. You have to go, whether you figure it out in this life, or you go to your review, or you have to go to a whole bunch of different lives or whatever. Yeah, you can't get away from it. So anyways, yeah, if my check comes in, I'm going to go run and do that stuff. And then, I don't know, just sit here and see what happens next. It's just like, God damn. It's like day after day after day. It's so weird. It's become so routine and so, like, I don't know, so redundant. Just is so like, oh my gosh. And I just hope like something, I hate to say, like, I hope something big happens, because it keeps seeming like it's going to probably be horrible when it does. But it's just dragging on and on. It's like Chinese water torture or something. It's like, wow, we need to have some bigger shifts. Some, I don't know, some movement in a better direction. Not just keep talking about it and talking about it. You know, actually show, you know, have the government collapse, have the medical thing, like these arrests and all this stuff. But I don't know. There'll probably be some more big stuff that'll happen this week. It just is hard. It just, because it just drags out and drags out. And I have a headache and I'm tired and goddamn house is haunted. So anyways, but I did all my, yesterday I cooked so much. I made a whole bunch of different bread. And I don't even know if anybody even likes fresh bread, but oh my gosh, I sure do. And especially when it's so warm, you put butter. And then when you make toast with the bread, because the oven, the bread maker toast or bread isn't near the same as making it in the oven. In the oven, it gets like a really thick crust. And then when you toast it, it's so crunchy. And when it comes out of the oven warm, and it's crunchy, and you put all the butter and stuff on it, it's so good. So I don't know. And I gave everybody like some jars of the candies. I made a whole bunch of different candies. And then I made the bread and made them all like little things and took them over to them. And I don't know, that always just makes you feel good. Like, I like to complete something, like a project, a task, and it will just eat at me until I finish it. Like, okay, gotta do this and I'll be done. Okay, gotta do this. So I felt so relieved, because the last one I had to give, he didn't come home till so late, and I even had fallen asleep while I was waiting. And it was another jolt awake where I was totally out of it. I look at my phone and he had emailed me a bunch of times and said that he was back, he's home. So I said, okay, I'll meet you out there. And so, and I feel like I was a total zombie walking out there like, but so I got to deliver my last one last evening. So I feel like, okay, that's accomplished. Now I'm going to go run and do some errands. And I have a couple of things I'm going to send through the post office. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I'm getting all these different things just wrapped up, and I don't know. That's good towards the end of the year to feel like you're getting all these things completed and done. But I just wish things that would hurry up. The biggest thing to me is the bank, but that is also my own fear. The universe knows that I need to work more on my trust, and everything's going to be fine. If I lose my house or I don't lose my house or however it's going to go, it's going to be fine. And, just it's all mind games. It's mental gymnastics to get yourself into a place of peace, into yourself where you're not emotionally unstable. So anyways, I'm so uncomfortable. I gotta go. So I'll get this going on downloading, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.